Okay, so before this video begins, this is a very different tone of video to what you'd be expecting to normally see from me. The news that in the week on Wednesday it really hit me hard, and I genuinely am sorry to any Pokemon fans if you watch this and this is your first opinion on me. I promise this is not like just me. I don't just rant about stuff. Just look at my other stuff. I promise this is not just me. Alright, I really hope you enjoy the video. Again, sorry. Now, I'm beginning the script on the 24th of June, a mere hour after the Pokemon presentation that we were all waiting for the past week. And I'm sorely disappointed, as I'm sure that most of you are. But frankly, I don't exactly know why I'm disappointed. I should have seen this coming. We all should have seen this coming. Why, you ask? Because it's the Pokemon Company. Let me start from the beginning. When all was happy and when the first game was released, Pokemon Red and Blue. These games were an inexcusable amount of fun. Like, seriously. Pokemon was new. It was amazing. It was more than amazing. It was fun. Gen 1 first debuted on the Game Boy in 1996 and made a somewhat nice surprise of a splash and racked up a good amount of sales. Sales is not what we're here to discuss today though. Let's talk about the initial gameplay. You catch animals named Pokemon and make your way on different routes to head off on your first ever Pokemon adventure. I'm genuinely envious of the people who got to go on their first adventure on this game. The feeling of adventure really sets in. You really do feel like a trainer challenging the Pokemon League and Team Rocket. Your adventure involved you going through various dungeon type areas to be accepted to many different gyms. 8 gyms to be clear. This formula has not been changed once since 1996. There have been small changes in the formula over the years, but every game only differentiates one thing. Some examples of this include Sun and Moon, bringing trials to the board rather than traditional gyms. Sword and Shield took this idea and also implemented the wild area, a feature that disappointed many people, but I'm certain we'll get into that a bit later on. I'm rambling on a bit too much to start off the video, so let me finally finish this introduction. The Pokemon Presents on Wednesday tipped me over the edge to finally delve into this video and where exactly Pokemon went wrong, and why it's now a very low effort series. I mean, seriously. Many people will disagree with my opinions in this video, especially since this is my first Pokemon themed video. But that's fine. It's my opinion, you're entitled to your own opinion, as am I. And I'm clearly disappointed, and have been for the past 4 years now, like many others. As I normally do with my Nintendo videos, let me tell you my backstory with the Pokemon series, so you can at least get my point of view on the series. I have played Gen 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and finally 8. I've only missed out on playing the Generation 2 games, being, for all intents and purposes, Gold, Silver, and Crystal. I'd like to talk more about the presentation later in the video, but I would like to note that I was sort of hoping for a Let's Go Johto game, so I could experience Gen 2. Even if it's watered down with it being a Let's Go game, this was kind of a giant letdown considering what we did end up getting. But first, let's talk about where the Pokemon series seems to take a turn for the worst. And I feel that there's a clear pivot point where the Pokemon Company starts becoming obsessed with money and moolah. It had to be with the success of Pokemon Go back in 2016. Trust me, there was still no clear variation in the generations before this, but there were some major differences after Go's release. First off, and most obviously, Nintendo saw how well the game was doing and decided to try and replicate the success with games such as Mario Run, Pocket Camp, and Mario Kart Tour, introducing a whole new age of free-to-start games generated by Nintendo and the Pokemon Company. First of all, free to start. That is worse than getting someone to pay for a full game. The reason that these companies do this is to prey on those who can't stop themselves from paying more money and generate addictions easily. This is a sickening business tactic, obviously, but for now let's just discuss something else. We'll circle back around to this point eventually. After Go's release, the Pokemon Company obviously became even more rich than ever. I mean, they had possibly the biggest game of 2016 on their hands in retrospect. The next game they released in the mainline Pokemon series was Pokemon Sun. And because this was developed before the completion of Pokemon Go, this game was actually somewhat fine, minus the fact that the dev team had completely binned the idea of gyms in that game and replaced them with the island trials. Now, here is where things get a bit more icky. Around 2017, when the Pokemon Company had clearly made boatloads of money through microtransactions, Pokemon released Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Apart from a few differences, I'm sure people will definitely point out in the comments, this game was identical to Sun and Moon that came out 1 year before it. Why did they not just wait and add these things to the main game? Or just make the add-ons DLC? Because they saw a business opportunity and were desperate to jump on it. And as you'd expect, that's exactly what they did. All they had to do was wait 1 year to add these things into the game, or probably even less time considering it didn't even add a monumental amount of content. Instead, the Pokemon Company sold the game as another $40 game. I would not mind this, but the base game was $40. Why did they sell a so-called better game at the exact same price? I have another couple of issues with this. 1. This means that Pokemon Sun, the base game, was clearly overpriced and they knew it, as the game with DLC sold for the exact same amount. And 2, just the fact that they sold it as a new game, as I've already said. I'm really sorry if this video does seem like I'm just ranting about Pokemon, but there are just some very clear issues, and it all seems to date back to around about the release of Pokemon Go. I mean, they didn't even need to release Pokemon Sun in 2016. Pokemon Go released that year and was a huge success. I mean, everybody knows about that game. The next thing I'd like to talk about is the last couple sets of games that have been released on the Switch. First, the Let's Go games. There genuinely isn't too much to say about this that isn't completely obvious. The Let's Go games offer a watered down Pokemon experience more suited to the Pokemon Go fans rather than the mainline Pokemon fans. I mean, for God's sake, you had to pretend to throw your Joy-Con if you were in docked mode. I can appreciate this was to cater to the Pokemon Go audience, so I have no particular gripes with this game, as it served nicely as a remake of the first gen with a new twist that the fans appreciated. My biggest problems really do lie within the newest games in the series, Pokemon Sword and Shield. I know a lot of people love these games, and I'm sorry for how much I'm about to slate them. First, let us discuss the obvious, a fixed camera. Really? When the wild area was first teased to us, it really seemed like it would genuinely be the entire game, which seems like the next logical step for the Pokemon franchise, to be able to explore in a giant open world. And I thought with the series change-ups of Mario and Zelda happening at this exact same time, I believe that we were actually going to be given this. I mean, just imagine an open world Pokemon game. And I'm sure you know how disappointed I was when the fixed camera was once again shown. It wasn't just this that pulled up my leg when first witnessing the wild area though. I ran out into a vast open plain, drew myself close to a tree, and would you look at that, it's a 144p texture. I would forgive this if this was their first non-handheld game based on the Switch, but man, they released the Let's Go games already at this point. They must have a clue at how home console gaming is achieved by now. There's the Pokédex problem that I'm sure you're all aware of at this point, and if you aren't, I'll link a video that talks about it in the description a bit more. But there's this giant obvious issue that the entire game feels just so rushed. I mean, to the point where by the end of the game, it doesn't even try to pretend that there's a gym challenge. For example, the gym challenge for the final gym is just to use 2 Pokemon at once. Seriously? That's creative. Now, circling back to the Dex issue, the dev team ripped out around 100 Pokemon from the Dex at this point. And guess where they're all going? Into the newest DLC, Isle of Armor, making people pay for content that was originally in the game. That's not good, man. So then with all of these at least sort of major problems, how many units do you think Pokemon Sword and Shield have sold? 5 million? 7? No, scrap that. 17 million units, lad. And still climbing. Is this really the sort of Pokemon game we want to see forever? A regurgitated series that depends on one change per game? No. We want to see something new. An entire game built in a wild area would be immense, but they don't seem interested. Now, something to note on this front is the fact that the Isle of Armor DLC is set entirely in the wild area, which is actually a slight improvement, but why must we pay for this? In fact, never mind the wild area, why must we pay for the Pokemon following feature that was present in the Let's Go games? And the worst bit is the fact that it's still inferior to the previously fine mechanic. The point that I'm trying to make here is that after the success of Pokemon Go, the Pokemon company seemed to just reek money. And from general reactions to the gamers around the world, I'm sure the next mainline Pokemon game will have a significant dip in sales. Similar to what we saw with Sticker Star and Colour Splash in the Paper Mario series. My issue is with the newer fans saying that the Pokemon company can do no wrong. Like, there's a multitude of issues surrounding the company that surely you cannot be blinded by their lackluster marketing. Okay, so now it's time to talk about what we've all been waiting for, and what disappointed us all the most. But first, the first week of the Pokemon Presents Saga. This was actually a really good presentation and catered to all sorts of audiences. Pokemon Smile is technically an app designed for the younger audiences. Pokemon Cafe Mix seems to be aimed at pretty much everyone, and the new Pokemon Snap seems to be aimed at that specific audience that's been asking for another entry in the series since like the N64 days. Yeah, I feel like a new audience probably will play the series. I'd like to note that this game looks miles better than Pokemon Sword and Shield graphically, and that's purely down to the fact that it's developed by another team, Bandai Namco, and has nothing to do with the mainline Pokemon game devs. At the end of this week of announcements was the announcement that the week after there was going to be an announcement about a big project that they've been working on. After this announcement, speculation flooded the internet. I mean, seriously, you can still see it, look. What could this be, many thought, and many people thought it was going to be a Let's Go Johto, as I discussed earlier in the video. And many also hoped for Gen 4 remakes, including myself. The next week rolls around, and as the Pokemon fanbase sits and waits for its next big remake, it begins. And it was severely disappointing. a Pokemon League of Legends clone titled Pokemon Unite. The game genuinely looks like a bit of fun. It really does. My biggest issue with this announcement is the week of hype with tons of speculation ending in this. And after this, I checked out Twitter and had a conversation with my good friend and fellow YouTuber Nehru, and he made some excellent points. My mistake was to expect anything at all, because the Pokemon company has been disappointing long-term fans for the past few years now. That is what pushed me to make this video. I would like to talk about more Pokemon related stuff in the future, but as a unit we need to do something. Look, okay, I'm a small YouTube channel, I'm very aware of that, but I want to make as much of a difference as physically possible. And you guys as subscribers are completely amazing. I couldn't ask for a better set of people. But as many did with the Colour Splash trailer when it was first revealed, we need to show Nintendo and the Pokemon company that this isn't the direction we want to see Pokemon take. If you see something you didn't like from any company, dislike the trailer or do whatever. I mean this when I say it. The companies are lucky to be able to see these likes and dislikes and any sort of backlash. 15 years ago, the companies would try to wing this and hope that people would like the game. And at the risk of sounding like a politician, please do let your voices be heard, so in the future you can see what you want to see. This may seem just like a guy with 150 subs trying to take down a multi-million-dollar company, but I promise I just want you guys to have your opinions. I thank you so much for watching this video, especially because it was a longer video than usual. This was very different to my normal videos, and I promise I'll be back to the happy videos just next week. This Nintendo news just kind of hit me hard, and I thought it deserved its own video. Now, if you haven't done so already, please do like this video and subscribe if you do agree with any of my points, as I am going to probably do more Pokemon videos, and I do general Nintendo and Zelda videos every other week. So please do at least consider subscribing, even if you are one of the Pokemon fans that completely hates me right now. Please. Also, if you haven't done so already, please check out my social medias that are on the description right now, my Instagram and my Twitter. They're also in the description. Thank you. If you made it here in the video, please comment Pokemon needs to get better, because in my opinion it does. And actually, please leave your opinions in the comments. Instead of just disliking the video, Pokemon fans, why not tell me why you think that the Pokemon company is actually doing alright? Cool, I think that outro was way too long, but I thank you all for watching the video one more time, and I'll see you all next time. Next week. Next time. Either one.